Right, welcome back. You're still with us on the agenda. The Moshweshwe Road in Rocklands, Bloemfontein is a sea of red and black as scores of EFF supporters stand in queues to make their way into the Dr. Rantlai Petrus Molemela Stadium. SABC News reporter Ishmael Modiba is outside the stadium and joins us now live. Ishmael, good morning. Thank you so much for your time on the agenda. So, how's the mood there outside the stadium?
Well, there's a hype of activity outside the stadium with a lot of EFF members and supporters going through the turnstile, and I can tell you that the excitement is so high that the people are excited to hear the message that will be delivered by the leader of the EFF, Julius Malema, around midday. We know that the party has been planning this event for months, and we saw throughout the week the activities that they have been unleashing. And one of the exciting things that I've witnessed here was the number of pensioners, old people who are coming in just to be on time when the leader of the party deliver the message. And I'm just going to move to my right, to my left-hand side, just to hear the mood from the people. What sort of expectation or message are they looking to hear from the leader of the party, Julius Malema? Dumela, o ka re tlhalosetsa gore wena o mang o tswa kae ke molaetsa o batlang go utlwa from moeteledipele wa rena Julius Malema?
Ke pule mogotho ke tla ya kutlwanong Odindala mtate ne ke lebeletse molaetsa o tla yang ntate Malema wa hore rona ma-student re tle re thole mosebetsi Odindala senyela holo embubodo ha ona mosebetsi gore e di blocked e mo ferefere ha gore ha ena nix e senyehile Odindala.
You can hear it's one of the party members who she's coming from Odendals right here in the Free State. She's talking about the situation where she is living, that she's appealing to the party leader to improve the area, and as a student they also want opportunities. And I must say that the situation is quite exciting and organized outside here, where the party marshals are also ensuring that there's a free flow of movement, and the police are also here in numbers to ensure that there is stability. I just want to hear from this gentleman what his message, what he likes to hear, what do you like to hear from the party member?
Can I say something? We are from the mining town. The unemployment in Odindals is where we are from. We just want our leader to address the mining issue, because where we are from, we're from the mining community. About half of the community, the youth, they are not working. The situation, the sewerage, the municipality want to hear our president today. He must call the removal of President Cyril Ramaphosa. We don't need Ramaphosa. South Africa doesn't have administration as we speak, because now we see our leader who can bring the South Africa together is Julius Malema. They thought we were going to live for 2 years, but look now, we are celebrating 9 years. EFF is growing, and people must just go and vote ANC out. What do we want to hear from him? We want to see Ramaphosa out just from tomorrow. Ramaphosa must leave the office. Thank you.
Well, you hear a vocal member of the party expressing his views on the administration, and this is kind of the issue. Some of the issues that he's raising is that the issues that we have covered around the Velkom Odendal, where there is a mining activity, but members of the community are still complaining that there is a high unemployment, there is a lack of jobs for the youth, and that's the kind of message that they would like to hear from their leader as to how is the party going to improve the situation of the residents of the community going forward.
Ishmael Modiba is SABC News reporter outside the stadium there in Bloemfontein. Thanks very much for that update. Now, 9 years ago, ANC Youth League leader Julius Malema, then expelled from the governing party, launched the Economic Freedom Fighters, the EFF. He described it as a protest movement for the black landless majority. To mark its 9th anniversary, the party heads to Mangaung in the Free State today to celebrate. For analysis on the EFF since its formation, we are now joined by political analyst Enoch Maponya. Mr. Maponya, thank you so much for your time on the agenda this morning. Now, we just spoke to our reporters outside there in the stadium in Bloemfontein, just basically touching base with us ahead of those celebrations that are expected to happen today. It's been 9 years now since the formation of the EFF. What has the party achieved since its formation?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate the EFF for their 9th birthday. And secondly, I would like to mention that the coming to being of the EFF has actually changed the political landscape of the country in terms of introducing the robust debate, not only in Parliament, but also in public between political parties. The second thing that the contribution that the EFF made is the fact that legally they have won several cases that assisted the country to be clear on certain sensitive issues. In particular, you remember the pay back the money case, which made the former president Jacob Zuma to pay back the money that was used for his Inkanda house. And this case made it very clear to the public that the decisions of the public protector are binding, and the only way for one to change them is to take the decision for review in court. So I would say the EFF really, it's a new baby, but it's no more new, but it has made tremendous contribution to the political landscape of this country. But I want to, at this stage, conclude by saying the EFF is able to fill stadiums and also to win SRCs at universities. But what is surprising is the number of people who attend their gatherings and the fact that they win SRCs does not translate into enough number of votes during elections. I think that is something that the EFF leadership should work on, so that they get more votes, although it's a growing party, but one would expect it to do better than it's doing right now.
Speaking of the EFF leadership, let's talk about the address that the CIC, Malema, is going to give later today. What do you think this address should focus on?
I think, like we know the EFF for the land question. I think they should really come up with something about the land question, because now this thing has become reached a deadlock in Parliament, because they were working together with the ANC, but at one stage they couldn't continue together. And that is why there's a stalemate. And as far as this issue is concerned, this land issue is very critical, because there's no way you can address the inequalities and poverty amongst the blacks in particular without addressing the land question. I think I would put that one as number one issue that I would like to hear what he has got to say about it. The other thing is the question of high unemployment rate, particularly amongst young people. What does the EFF say, and what solutions do they hold for the country?
Now, Mr. Maponya, let's talk about the EFF policies. And when we look at the EFF policies and we look at the party that Mr. Malema comes from, the ANC, how different are they from the ANC policies?
Well, I would say they are different. Remember that when Julius Malema was president of the ANC Youth League, the ANC Youth League at a conference, I think it was 1910, took decisions to address issues such as the land issue and also the question of foreigners and so on interfering in our matters, and that led to his expulsion from the party, because apparently the ANC leadership was not prepared to take that line that had been taken by the Youth League. So the EFF is actually carrying that old mandate, I think, which the ANC leadership did not want to get implemented. And that is why the EFF is standing out as that party that wants to see black problems addressed squarely, as compared to the ANC, which sometimes seems to be lukewarm when it comes to black affairs.
All right, so now Malema has reiterated calls for President Cyril Ramaphosa to step down over the now Phala saga, saying he's bringing the office of the president into disrepute. What is your take on this?
Well, I would say I would expect Malema to talk like that as a leader of the opposition party. And indeed, the Phala issue is very controversial, and actually, one would say the police and the NPA are sort of do not want to address this issue. They should, if it was somebody else, they would have long come out with a solution. So it's perhaps from pressures exerted by political parties such as the EFF, perhaps they will be able to come up with something, because even the country is held at ransom, because people would like to know whether indeed the president has really transgressed some of the rules or the laws of the country or not.
Now, Mr. Maponya, we were just talking to our reporters just a short while ago. One is inside the stadium and the other outside. And most of them, Ishmael even had some young people there with him. And seemingly unemployment is a big problem. It's no secret that it is a big problem here in the country. And Malema and Thabo Mbeki have warned that, South Africa is likely to face an uprising in the near future over the high levels of poverty, corruption, and unemployment. What is the EFF doing to ensure that we don't have an uprising, if you put it that way?
Well, I think the EFF should come up with a clear policy that is to address economic problems. In particular, at one stage in the Gauteng province, the EFF was encouraging the Johannesburg municipality to insource jobs there, and they did achieve something in terms of certain types of jobs like security officers and so on. I think that is the line that one would encourage the EFF to take, because by over-privatizing jobs, I don't see the problem of unemployment being addressed. Perhaps the public service should make a start by insourcing some of the jobs in order to observe as many young people as we can. And if possible, they must come up with radical measures like saying people should not be in the public service, work for the public service for more than 30 years, so as to let public service jobs be shared amongst the needy in the country. Like, as is the case now, there are people who have been politicians since 1994 to date, and in 2024, they will have completed 30 years of earning public service funds. I think the time has come that the EFF should come up with a radical policy such as saying people can only earn public funds, say for 30 years, and thereafter they should move out and give chance to others so that we are able to share the available resources in the country. Otherwise, I don't see how this unemployment is going to be addressed by waiting for investors and the growth of the economy only.
Now, Mr. Maponya, many say the EFF is quick to criticize the ruling government but don't have solutions to the criticism that they face. What would your take or addition to this be?
Exactly. I would say, indeed, they are criticizing. The time has come that the EFF must change their way of doing things. They must not only be known for being robust and perhaps being defiant and so on. They must give that other picture which people would like to see as an alternative party that can come to the rescue of the country when things are not moving well. So I think the EFF must put on the table the solutions of existing problems. Like I'm saying, the question of unemployment could be addressed by making a start in the public service by insourcing jobs and not over-privatize public services.
All right, now, political analyst Enoch Maponya joins us there to talk all things EFF ahead of those birthday celebrations happening there in the Free State. Thanks very much indeed for your time.